Hello, this is Sarah Brush. Welcome back to my channel. So I want to make a video about Tariq Nasheed. So I've made at least one other video about Tariq Nasheed. Now, I don't actually really know what his deal is. I don't know what his occupation is. I think his occupation is Sean Kane wannabe Twitter faux activist on social media and trying to drive private citizen nobody strangers to suicide on social media via trial by Twitter without due process based on snippets of out of context iPhone video. That seems to be Tariq Nasheed's occupation. So anyway, he was very much a part of the global vilification campaign against me after the living or napping while black hate crime hoax at Yale in May 2018. He said a lot of ridiculous and disgusting things about me. I think he was one of the people that actually referred to me as a Nazi, a white supremacist, a racist, of course. And so one of the other videos that I'd done on Tariq Nasheed was about, so he abhors Kamala Harris. And there's a very specific reason why. And he considers himself to be a foundational Black American. And this is an American descendant of slaves. So he does not think you should be usurping the Black struggle in the US unless you are actually a descendant of slaves that were brought from Africa to the American colonies, to the United States after it became a nation state. And so that's his big shtick. So he hates Kamala Harris because she is the daughter of a Jamaican immigrant and an Indian immigrant. So he does not consider her to be a foundational Black American. He does not consider her to be an American descendant of slaves, and so he feels like she has very much usurped the struggle of Black Americans who are foundational Black Americans, who are American descendants of slaves. And so there is no love lost between the two of them. He is not happy with her at all. So now, one of the reasons why this was interesting to me when I realized this about Tariq Nasheed is because, of course, he tried to drive me to suicide and incite mobs against me multiple times on Twitter, etc. But Lalata Siambola is Nigerian. And this was a point that I always made since, for the past 3 years during what I now refer to as the Great Racism Scare of 2018 to now, the Living While Black race hoax, because I feel like the entire Living While Black movement was turned into a race hoax and a blood sport targeting not just women, but definitely targeting vulnerable white women for moral outrage industry money. So I could never for the life of me understand why US Black social justice activists were allowing these super privileged Africans on elite university campuses like Yale to usurp and destroy the Living While Black movement. And this seems to be everything that Tariq Nasheed hates as well. So he should have hated Lalata Siambola. He should have hated what she did at Yale. And I've been referring to this as actually a form of blackfishing. So blackfishing is a play on the term catfishing, which means that you pretend to be someone other than what you are particularly on social media, and this has been particularly the term that's been used in the dating milieu. So, like, you know, you pretend to be this gorgeous 20 something model, but in fact, you're not that. You're, you know, I don't know, a middle aged man, you know. And then when the person tries to actually meet up with you because they're all excited that they made this love connection online with a 20 something model, and then they meet you and they find out you're, you know, a 50-year-old man. So that's not, you know, ideal. So that's what catfishing is. So blackfishing has been a term that's been used for people who pretend, seemingly pretend to be people of color, particularly on social media. And so, but probably the most egregious, obvious example is Rachel Dolezal. And she was like a president of a chapter of the NAACP or the ACLU or something. And she was a white woman with blonde hair and had grown up with blonde hair and blue eyes who was, you know, pretending to be a black woman to operate in this, you know, arena. So anyway, so that's blackfishing. But I have actually been using the term blackfishing to describe what Lolata Siambola did at Yale and what Tariq Nasheed seems to hate so much. He hates these persons who have not suffered as foundational Black Americans have suffered in the US, who are not American descendants of slaves. And he just, it makes him insane that they basically are usurping this struggle as their own and reaping the benefits, you know, trying to make, you know, Lolata Siambola invoked Sandra Bland's tragic history and her name, which is the most asinine thing in the entire world. So she's trying to basically pretend like she's, you know, trying to make herself into a Rosa Parks when she's this hyper privileged African on an elite university campus like Yale. And she is perpetrating, very obviously perpetrating, not just a race hoax, but a hate crime hoax. And she's doing this for her own self-aggrandizement. She's doing this for her own, the advancement of her academic career. And then she got, you know, Yale wanted to get her out of the country ASAP. And of course, and you know, to make it more difficult for me to sue her, etc. And so they sent her off to Cambridge, got to go to Cambridge because of the hate crime hoax that she perpetrated at Yale. She got an award at commencement in 2019, etc. So Tariq Nasheed should have hated Lolata Siambola, and just like he hates Kamala Harris. So I did a video about that. Now I'm just mentioning this so you understand, you know, the history and who this guy is. So Tariq Nasheed very recently did something so disgusting, and I'm going to make another video that's just about this issue, the Black trauma moral outrage industry, and how, so Tariq Nasheed posted this video on Twitter, and it was of this young man, I believe that he's a young gay man. He's a young white gay man who had a job working the front desk at a Holiday Inn, and then some horrible person decided that they were going to do what so many others have done. And this person, the gentleman behind the front desk, was obviously, who apparently does have mental health disabilities, and he was obviously having not a great day. And then the person, who I guess was a black person that was filming him on their iPhone, hoping to turn themselves into the next Sean King and, you know, get their 15 minutes of fame, they were harassing him and provoking him and antagonizing him. And then, you know, the person behind the front desk at the Holiday Inn had something of a mini breakdown and, you know, slammed his head against the monitor of the computer and walked off. And anyway, so then this person somehow, got in touch with Tariq Nasheed, and Tariq Nasheed posted this video as another sort of like a male Karen, but another Karen gone wild video. Look at this horrible racist mistreating this black customer at this Holiday Inn. This is racial profiling, trying to destroy someone. And so this person had to quit their job. This gentleman who was the front desk agent had to quit their job, was suicidal. It exacerbated their mental health difficulties. And this has to stop. And I've addressed it on Twitter, but I want to address it here in this video. This has to stop. This is exactly what happened to me as well at Yale. The video that Lolata Siambola took of me, I was targeted for my mental health disabilities. It was very obviously a campaign to publicly shame me for my mental health disabilities, and the ACLU and Sean Kane were complicit. What I want to say is that this is evil. This is evil. Tariq Nasheed is evil. You are not helping black people. You are not helping anyone by trying to drive private citizen, nobody strangers to suicide on Twitter. You are helping no one. You are destroying our society. You are destroying our legal system. You are destroying due process. You're destroying social media. You're destroying everything. You're destroying Living While Black. This is how Living While Black got destroyed. By people turning it into a race hoax and a blood sport, targeting private citizen, nobody strangers, most often vulnerable people with seeming or obvious mental health disabilities, which is exactly what happened to me. You're not helping black people. You're not helping anyone. You're just perpetuating and participating in the black trauma moral outrage industry for a few dollars. You couldn't care less about black people. You couldn't care less about helping anyone. Do you want to know what I do, what attorneys do who actually want to help black people? They seal their criminal records. They stop them from being evicted from their apartments. They file their bankruptcies for them. That's how you help black and all people. Tariq Nasheed couldn't care less about black people. Tariq Nasheed couldn't care less about the Living While Black movement, which he helped destroy. Tariq Nasheed is evil. He's evil. Tariq Nasheed is evil, and I want to make that point clear. You are helping no one. You are helping no one by trying to drive a private citizen, nobody stranger, to suicide on Twitter for a few moral outrage industry dollars. And this is exactly what the ACLU did. This is exactly what Sean Kane did to me. And not only that, this is exactly what the appeal did to me. This is exactly what the president of the appeal, Josie Duffy Rice, did to me. This is exactly what the president of the ACLU, Deborah Archer, did to me. But this is also what the New York Times did to me, what CNN did to me, what the Washington Post did to me, what Michael Harriot of The Root did to me, what MSNBC did to me, what Don Lemon did to me, what Ann Reid did to me. The list just goes on and on and on. What Roxane Gay did to me in the New York Times, what Ijeoma Oluo did to me. They are no better than Tariq Nasheed or Sean Kane. You are not, and I don't even care. Maybe someone does actually do something racist. Maybe someone does actually do something racist. Like that evil Garrett Jones who exploited, he took his family, his wife, his family took like a 1-minute iPhone video of this like frail, tiny 80-year-old white woman who, yes, she did say something kind of racist. And they were inside a private gated community. It was apparently some issue with their dog attacked her little dog, whatever. She did say something that was definitely racist. It was bad. She told the family that, that she said something very similar to, something akin to, you're the only black family that lives inside of this gated community, a very expensive gated community, and you need to learn how to act like us, something to that effect. That's bad, that's wrong, that's racist. This was a teeny tiny 80-year-old white woman. And what this family, Garrett Jones and his family, ended up doing is they exploited this iPhone video that they took of this white woman, and they used it to promote their family-owned business, a military-grade armed security business called Black Anchor Tactical. They sent local news crews to this woman's house, and it was inside a gated community, so they must have let the news crews in. They harassed this 80-year-old woman at her house, pounded on her door. Her husband answered the door, said, "Please leave us alone. This is a non-event. This is not newsworthy." And that's what I'm saying, is that even if, like, this 80-year-old woman did say something racist to this black family inside of this gated community, you know what? You're not helping black people by turning her. It went global. It went global. It went around the world. You're putting her life in danger. You're adding stress. She's old. She's old. She probably only has a couple years left to live. You're probably going to exacerbate whatever health conditions she has. You think you're helping black people by doing this? Do you think you're helping black people by doing this? You're not helping anyone. You're destroying our society. You're destroying our legal system. You're destroying our public space. You're helping no one by behaving this way. And Roxane Gay and Ichioma Oluo and the Washington Post and the LA Times and Michael Harriot of The Root and all of them, that you are no better than Tariq Nasheed. You are no better than Sean Kane. This is not social justice. This is not social justice. You're the black trauma moral outrage industry trying to make a few moral outrage industry bucks, and you don't care if you get private citizen, nobody, strangers with mental health difficulties, with mental health disabilities killed. You don't care if you drive them to suicide. You are helping no one. You are evil. You are everything that is wrong with this world. Everything that is wrong with this world. You're destroying Living While Black. This is why Living While Black was destroyed. It was turned into a race hoax and blood sport to targeting vulnerable white women, trying to drive innocent, and even if they aren't entirely innocent, you're not helping anyone by driving private citizen, nobody, strangers to suicide on Twitter. Get that through your thick skull. You are helping no one. You are helping no one. You're destroying us. You're destroying us. Anyway, I don't want this video to get too long. I just really wanted to make that point clear, and I'm going to do a lot more videos about this, about the black trauma moral outrage industry, about what it actually means to help black people and to do work, the real social justice work. And I'll talk more about the well-respected social justice activists, the black social justice activists in the U.S. who are actually calling out the horrible people like Tariq Nasheed who are undermining their efforts and giving them a bad name because they're trying to drive private citizen, nobody, strangers to suicide on Twitter, and they're saying that this is the social justice work. This is not social justice work. This is evil. That is evil. And it's exactly what was done to me. It's exactly what was done to me, what they all did to me. And they're going to get their comeuppance. There's going to be accountability for what was done to me and what was done to all of us and what was done to that young man at the Holiday Inn. And I hope he's okay. And I know there's a GoFundMe out there for him. Please support him. And anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I don't want this video to get too long. It's already going on 20 minutes. Okay, I'll stop there. I will have all of my fundraising links below. I love you all so much. Okay, take care of yourselves. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.